desperation.
Moving on to the NBA now. They're serving up their biggest matchup of the season tonight. Lakers versus Bucks. Best team in the West versus best team in the East. Both with MVP candidates in LeBron and Giannis. Both with identical records at 24-4. Both with a chance for some early season bragging rights with a win tonight. Nick, how big of a measuring stick do you think this is for the Lakers?
Well, if the Lakers have a really, really interesting opportunity in the next week. If they go to Milwaukee and whoop them, and then on Christmas Day, if they avenge one of their only losses of the year and they beat the Clippers, the full-strength Clippers. I assume Kawhi's going to play on Christmas Day. I hope he plays on Christmas Day.
Should be a league mandate that he plays.
Absolutely. Then it will start to feel a little fait accompli-ish as far as what's going to happen in this season. If the Lakers can go to Milwaukee, they already had the toughest back-to-back you can have in the NBA. At Denver, at Utah, because of elevation, because of crowd, because of all that. Yeah. And they won both those games. They played their single toughest game on their schedule against the only player in the league that has a credible claim against LeBron to be the best player in the league. That's going to be, they're both going to be without one key player. The Lakers will be without Kuz, the Bucks will be without Bledsoe, but they're mostly at full strength, assuming Anthony Davis is going to play. And they beat them soundly. Then the title favorites in Los Angeles become the overwhelming title favorites, at least to me.
I don't know if I'm willing to say they become the overwhelming favorites, but this is a cologne game. You don't wear cologne every day, do you?
No.
Right? You only put on cologne those special nights. You put it on, and this is first Thursday night hoop game where it's not competing with Thursday night football, right?
Yep.
So now America's
Lakers TNT game.
Yeah. So now it's kind of real. And then here's my most fascinating part about this matchup. If you were 20 years ago to say, what does the ideal NBA player look like in 2020? You go, I don't know, 6'9", 6'10", can do everything. You're like, those guys don't really exist, right? They do, and they play for both of these teams, right? You have Giannis Antetokounmpo and Anthony Davis. Those two matching up each other is like something out of mythology, watching those two play the entire court, and I can't wait to see them guard one another. But you make a great point, and I agree with you. This LeBron playing so many minutes, playing the way he's playing, motivating his team to compete defensively on more possessions than other teams. This is what it all built up to. He wants to put the league on notice. He wants to put the haters on notice that last year was the outlier year. This is who LeBron is. This is why he came to L.A. Yes, he can make movies. Yes, he can make commercials. Yes, his son can play on this made-up team of superstars. All those are ancillary benefits to winning with the Lakers.
Keeping the main thing, which is something he has said for years. And I don't think it's a coincidence that both these teams were 24-3, and then both of them lost their game leading up to this one. Now, they both had opportunities to win it. Giannis went for 48 in their most recent game, a loss to the Mavs without Luka. And the Lakers were up 5 with 3.5 minutes left. Then in a loss in Indiana, where LeBron didn't play particularly well. But they know this is the game.
Yes, none of that actually matters when everybody forgets that.
And
right?
So right now, I feel like the title picture, if I were to put odds on it, I'd say we're at 55% Lakers, 35% Milwaukee, 10% field, 10% rest of the league combined. I know some people feel the Clippers should factor into that far more than I do. That's fine. We'll get to see more of that on Christmas Day. But the flip side to this is Milwaukee can also say,
yes,
it is our damn time.
Yes.
Because this is not a game that anyone on the Lakers is going to take lightly. And this is a game that I think both of these teams look at a measuring stick because it is the overwhelming likely finals match.
Who makes the bigger statement, though, with a win?
Well, I think, kind of either. I do think it's big for Milwaukee on the other part that maybe is the elephant in the room. Everybody wants Giannis when he's a free agent, right?
Yes.
And the last all-time great to play Milwaukee was a guy named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he left Milwaukee
to go where?
To go to the LA Lakers.
There you go.
I don't know if you guys have been to the new arena in Milwaukee. It's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
The guys who run that came from MSG, right? They're New Yorkers. They came in, threw a bunch of money at it and said, spare no expense. The practice facility is insane. And their whole buildup is, we're going to build a team around you, a championship caliber team. And imagine if LeBron James walks in and says, this is the Lakers, where in 2 years we can go from a laughing stock of the league and we figure it out, and that can be you. And oh yeah, by the way, his brother is in the Lakers organization. Like the whole thing is, it's almost like recruiting in college.
Right.
Now, now where in layup lines or at handshake lines, you can ask somebody to get in the transfer portal and come on over. That's how big this game is. It's not just this year.
And Milwaukee's got to make the finals. If Milwaukee makes the finals, Giannis resigns. If they don't, I don't think it's the Lakers. I think Pat Riley in Miami might have a rabbit up their hat. But this is a prelude to what is the biggest story of the NBA season, aside from the man over my left shoulder, which is the future of the man who will one day be the best player in the league if he isn't already, in Giannis Antetokounmpo.
All right, let's move on. Back to Odell Beckham Jr. in a second, but first Celtics and Mavericks, and Kristaps Porzingis spinning off Jaylen Brown for the easy dunk.
Oh, listen, great play by Kristaps, but that wasn't enough. This was a moneymaker for me last night. Celtics -2 on the road, no Luka, easy money. Great third quarter by Boston, good fourth quarter. I'm very happy about the result of this late-night basketball game, Doug Gottlieb.
It is fascinating to watch the Celtics be better, you know, with maybe lesser talent than last year.
Nuggets Magic, Nikola Jokic throwing up the one-legged fadeaway three as the shot clock expires.
Exactly the shot you would think Jokic would take.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious travel, but of course we only get mad when James Harden does it. This was a game. Jamal Murray was outstanding. Jokic was his traditional. That is a travel. Watch the very last. There's one bit. No,
no, it's not a travel.
Okay.
It's not a travel. He puts the foot down to become a travel. Not a travel. That's a Dirk is what that's called. That's the shot that Dirk brought to the NBA. When he'd practice with his with his German coach before the games.
All right, we
could go on forever, but then we wouldn't be able to tell you about John Morant. Up for the alley-oop dunk. That's big hop.
That's a point guard. That's a point guard. Catching the alley-oop.
I know.
He's a freak of nature.
He's going to win Rookie of the Year, thanks in large part, I think, to Zion's injury. This was an important win, by the way, for Oklahoma City. You can't be losing home games to Memphis, and this was a close game down the stretch, but Ja's spectacular.
Pistons and Raptors, Andre Drummond erases Pascal Siakam's dunk attempt.
There you go, Drummond. Going up for the contest. I respect it. Sometimes you're going to get boomed on, and sometimes you're going to say, hey, Pascal Siakam, you might be the back-to-back most improved player in the league, but tonight, I'm sending this home with you. Good job, Drummond.
The narrative.
It's true.
I like it.
Toronto, of course, won the game because they were playing Detroit, and Toronto's good, and Detroit is not, but that was a good play.
On to the Browns and Odell Beckham. It's been a season to forget for the talented but often misunderstood wide receiver. Statistically, his worst year on the field. Not a fun one off it either, culminating in rumors that earlier in the season he reportedly told other teams to, quote, come get me. Well, yesterday, Odell commented about his future with the Browns. Take a listen.
I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here. We're going to figure this thing out. It's just too special to leave. In my experiences in the league and, you know, kind of going through the troubles that I did, I can now see how those stories, you know, like for me, it'll never bother. It's never going to affect me. But then it's like, does it cause a little friction between you and a teammate who doesn't necessarily know what it is you're thinking? So it's just done. It's time to just put it to bed. Like, I'm going to be here. There's nothing more to talk about. It's just too good. You know, I didn't buy a house here to sell it, you know. I know people have said, you know, I didn't sign them to trade them before, but I didn't really buy a house here to up and leave it.
That's a good line, Odell. That's a really good line.
I didn't buy a house to sell it.
Yeah, that's a good line by him.
Yeah, because good luck selling it. Okay. Mangini's here. I think he still lives in Cleveland.
He lives in Cleveland.
Yeah, still because he can't sell the house.
No.
Gottlieb, what do you make of Odell knocking down trade rumors?
He's gone.
Really?
Yeah, of course he's gone. Remember, like, look, last week he said, I couldn't sit here and tell you whether I'm going to be here or whether I want to be here, right? Yes, you actually can. That's the way it works. And then he actually felt like he admitted there was some friction with a teammate. He's like, well, might be some friction with a teammate over not understanding. Why are you, the more he talks, the more he lets us in on the fact that it's a complete, stop with the Cleveland Browns is so special here. Do you remember Insane Clown Posse?
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Juggalos.
Do you remember any one song that they?
No.
Right? No one remembers a song, but you remember Insane Clown Posse.
Face paint.
Right. They're famous for just kind of having a interesting, clever name and face paint. That's about it. That's the Browns. Browns are bad. They've been bad. They're going to be bad. They have a terrible culture. They have a coach who's completely in over his head. It's a Peter principle, right? Like it's from business school, you know, Peter principle, which is when you're advanced above the level of your competency. And I mean, like, look, they've been to the playoffs once since they've become a franchise. Like, I think that a lot of sports fans think, oh, well, they're cursed because of the fumble and the drive. Like, no, that franchise is in Baltimore. This franchise sucks. They're insane clown posse. We talk about it a bunch because they got a bunch of face paint, but they've never actually done anything. He needs to go somewhere else, and they need to completely start over with a coach and with a culture of guys that don't say anything, they just play football.
Okay, so I totally disagree with you on a number of things. First of all,
insane clown posse?
Well, yeah, first of all on that, because, hey, Juggalos out there, that was his statement, not mine. Do not come for me. I think you messed with the wrong group of people. But more importantly, on Odell. So you brought up his quote from a few weeks ago when he was first asked about the trade stuff. And Odell did what he very often does, which is tried to answer honestly on a question I think he was caught off guard by about his future. And he opined openly, like, oh, I don't know. Like, am I going to be here? Am I not going to be here? And what the friction he's talking about is, he basically, what he was saying there was, I'm used to all this noise surrounding me. There's been a lot of noise surrounding me my whole career, so I don't let it affect me. But I might have teammates that see the headlines, see shows like